Have you ever walked into a room and a room full of people, but yet you still felt alone? Maybe it was a meeting at work, maybe it was a family gathering or like a friend's house, a party. It doesn't matter where it was, but there was a lot of people there and you were there, but yet you still felt that you were alone. And you felt as though no one even recognized your presence. They didn't even know that you were there. You see, this was my truth for a very long time. I wrestled with the heavy burden and the feeling of just being inadequate, not being seen. I felt as though I was unworthy. That was my life. That's what it was like for me for a really long time. But finally, I was able to get to a place to where I began to recognize me and value me. But it was a journey getting there. It didn't take overnight. It was a lot of work that I had to put in. And in fact, it took a number of years to get me to this place. We often hear that the struggle is real. And yes, that sounds very cliche. But let me tell you, the truth of the matter is that the struggle is very real for so many of us. That's our day-to-day reality, not being seen, feeling unworthy. It's a struggle and it is real. We feel that we're not worthy. We feel as though we're not appreciated. We feel that no one listens to us or cares about anything that we have to say, that there's no value in anything that we have to say. Well, let me share with you, you're not alone. This was my truth. And I know today that there's still so many of us who feel this same way, unseen. Regardless of what you look like, and yes, that you're physically there, but you feel as though you're not seen. And it hurts. It hurts a lot. We have other people telling us, well, you should be more like this person, or you should say this, or you should act like this. Maybe if you dress like this, or talk like this. You see, there's these constant opinions always bombarding us of who we should be, sound like, look like, always other people's opinions and negative input telling us who we should be, right? And we get to a place where we don't even recognize who we are. We can't even answer the question, who am I? And for a lot of Black women navigating the complexities of just struggling with their own identity and own purpose, the struggle is real. But let me share with you, God's word is even more real. As a matter of fact, that's the real truth. God's word is the real truth. And for me, after putting in the work and studying God's word and discovering who I was according to how God saw me, what I was in his eyes or who I was in his eyes, man, that was a night and day difference in my life. And it was so empowering. It was so freeing to finally be able to answer the question, who I am. I can answer that question now. You see, when the world whispers lies of insignificant, you're not worthy, you're not important, it's very easy to come under the weight of all that doubt and insecurity. It's just like something resting constantly on our shoulders. But I want you to listen very carefully to this. There is a voice that speaks even louder than the world around us, and that is the voice of God. And we can find his voice in his word. And his word tells us that we are fearfully and wonderfully made, right? I want you to imagine, just for a moment, just imagine how deep God's love is for us. And that he just showers us every single day with this love. A love that has no bounds. A love that is unconditional. A love that has no limits. It's a love that sees beyond our flaws, what we look like, our imperfection. It looks well beyond all of that. And he embraces us, our true identity, just the way that we are. You see, in his eyes, we are cherished. We are valued. We are precious. We are honored. And we are loved. Our worth is not defined by what the world tells us, what society tells us. We don't follow society standards. We don't follow what culture tells us who we are. We are validated through God's word. And that's the foundation. That's unshakable. It doesn't move. It is rock solid. And it is based upon his unwavering, unshakable love for us. But finding our worth in God's eyes is more than just an acknowledgement. It is a transformational journey. It is a journey of faith, and it is a journey of self-discovery. But here are 3 tips that I want to share with you today to help you get started on discovering who you truly are according to God's word. Tip number 1, when those doubts and of negativity, words of doubt and negativity come up in our mind, I want you to stop it. It's going to take some courage. It's going to take a while to sink in. This is something you will have to do every single day, but I want you to stop it. When those negative thoughts come up in your mind, literally say out loud to yourself, stop, I'm not that. Step number 2, you want to immediately replace those thoughts of doubt, replace them with God's word, who God says that you are. Okay, we just shared one verse. I am fearfully and wonderfully made, right? God's word also tells us that we are courageous. Okay, begin to learn God's verses that we can speak God's word. Begin to learn God's word. Begin to learn different verses that speak directly to who we are according to what God's word tells us. And even if you have to say the same one over and over and over and over, do it. Just do it. Step number 3, it's simple. Go back to step 1 and 2, because those doubts, those thoughts of doubt, those thoughts of insecurity, those thoughts of unworthiness, those thoughts of, nobody sees me, that's going to come up, right? And it's going to come often. It will come up daily even. Repeat it. When they do, right? Stop it. Say it aloud to yourself. Stop. I'm not that. And then step number 2 was immediately replace it. And you're just going to repeat that cycle, because the doubts are going to come and you have to replace the doubts. We got to get rid of it. Okay? Practice this every single day. This is a daily practice. This is what we can do to begin this transformational journey of discovering who we truly are according to God's word. So as you embark upon this journey, as you hey, I got to turn this around. This is not me. And as you begin to discover who you truly are, I want you to remember that your self-confidence and your self-worth, it's not about you trying to be perfect. It's not about you seeking validation from other people. God has already told us who we are. It's about embracing our true, authentic selves and walking boldly in the truths of God's word, his promises. It's about just throwing away or ignoring the shadows of doubt and insecurity. That's what it's about. And immediately replacing that with who God says that we are. As right now, as you're standing at this crossroad, okay, here is doubt, here is faith. I want you to know that you have the strength. You have everything that is inside of you, the strength and the resilience that surpasses all understanding to discover who you truly are. You can do it. Which road are you going to take? Continue to believe the doubt and the negativity, or are you going to rely on God's word? That's the truth. That is the truth, right? He's already validated us. He's already told us who we truly are. God's word is the truth. God's word is the source, the true source of our self-confidence and our self-worth. As an empowerment coach,